Hi, friends. My name is Jordan, and I'm a master's student in neuroscience at the University of Texas at Dallas. Today, I'm going to be discussing the importance of sleep and how you can improve your sleep quality. Before we start, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for this video. We are first going to look at some of the reasons why students struggle to sleep and how going without it can impact your daily life. We'll look at a few parts of the brain affected by sleep and some of their important functions. After that, I'm going to give you a few tricks you can implement into your daily routine to make getting a good night's sleep easier. Before we dive into some important details about why students may struggle to sleep at night, let me give you a scenario. Suppose we are at lunch together and I tell you that I'll pay for your food if you can get one question correct. And if you don't, then you have to pay for mine. You agree, so we put our money on the table and I ask you this. I'm going to point to a random student here and you guess whether they got enough sleep last night or not. The catch is, you can't see what they look like, so you can only go off of a chance guess. So how would you answer? Well, if you guessed no, that the student did not get enough sleep, you would most likely win the bet. Surveys have said that around 60 to 70% of students get less than their recommended amount of sleep on school nights, which is between 8 to 10 hours. Now, this presents a real challenge when you think about all the things you have to do during the day: classes, homework, social life, family, sports, fine arts. You get it. It can be a lot of pressure trying to balance all of these responsibilities, even for adults. But trying to do so without getting the proper sleep can make it even more challenging. Here are some common reasons why students do not get enough sleep. Some of these are pretty common sense, like being busy with homework and extracurriculars at night. There may be some that you aren't aware of. You may not know it, but you are already at a disadvantage when it comes to falling asleep. When you're a teenager, your brain is busy growing and maturing, and one of the consequences of changing is that your brain actually shifts its internal clock for when it wants to sleep and wake up. It's almost like it has its own version of daylight savings time. So even though you get tired around 8 or 9 when you were younger, now you might not start feeling sleepy until 10 or 11. Because of this, your brain also probably doesn't want to wake up till 8 or 9 in the morning, which can make it a real challenge when you have to get up early for school. So, since you want to be up later at night, it's also really tempting to want to get on your phone or watch YouTube until you get tired. But here's the catch: the screens on your devices emit a certain kind of light called blue light that is very strong at telling your brain to wake up because it's daytime, which makes it even harder to fall asleep when you need to. Another thing that you might not be aware of is experiencing social pressure can make it more difficult to sleep well. When you feel stressed out and worried about the future, your brain interprets these negative thoughts similar to threats and starts preparing your body to deal with them, such as increased heart rate and adrenaline levels. Now, this can make it difficult to relax at night, and you could have trouble with both falling asleep and staying asleep. Let's talk about some things happening in your brain when you're sleep deprived. Here are a few brain regions significantly impacted by sleep. At the front, we have the prefrontal cortex that has a lot to do with problem solving and being able to control your thoughts and actions. At 4, 5, and 6, we have the temporal lobe for memory and communication, the parietal lobe for perception and spatial skills, and the orbital frontal cortex for attention and decision making. Finally, at 2 and 3, we have the amygdala for a lot of our emotional processing and behavioral reactions, and the hippocampus is where memories are formed. When we get enough sleep, all of these are able to function normally, but when we are sleep deprived, these can be thrown out of balance. Here's what happens when you don't get enough sleep at night. First, you are going to have trouble paying attention during class, remembering things that happened during the day, and overall difficulty with learning new information. These troubles are going to make it hard for you to perform well on homework and tests, which can lead to lower grades. Second, your brain is going to struggle more with processing your emotions during the day. You might feel more stressed, anxious, or depressed from things you can normally handle, which can quickly become overwhelming. You also might start having trouble handling conflict with others and want to start keeping your distance from past relationships. This can all compound into serious problems for your overall mood and well being as time goes on. You may be at increased risk for becoming sick and even more difficulty recovering if you aren't feeling well already. For athletes, you might experience decreased performance in your skills and stamina when you train and compete, which can increase risk of injury. Finally, your brain without sleep is much less alert, leading you to make more mistakes or being at risk for your own safety and the safety of others, such as driving. Now that we've discussed the dangers of sleep deprivation, let's talk about what you can do to make sleep easier and improve your overall health. First, it's important to keep a consistent sleep schedule. This means doing your best to go to bed and wake up at the same times every day, even on the weekends if possible. Now, this is important because it trains your brain to keep its own internal clock so that you can feel sleepy enough to fall asleep when you need to, as well as feel more energetic after you wake up. Second, pay attention to your screen time at night. We've already talked about how bright screens can signal your brain to wake up because it's tricked into thinking it's daytime. So try staying away from screens at least 2 hours before you go to bed to help your body feel more drowsy. Third, keep your bedroom a place mainly for sleep and only sleep. Don't use your bed for anything that requires a lot of energy or attention, like homework or studying, because this can condition your brain into associating the bed with increased activity. Keeping your bedroom dark, quiet, and at a cool temperature will also help train your brain to recognize that it's night, so it's time to fall asleep. Fourth, it's important to relax at night so that your brain can let itself wind down before bedtime. If you wait to calm down until you're already in bed, then you're at a disadvantage for falling asleep quickly. Normally, your body will start its natural sleepiness process long before you go to bed. But if this gets delayed, then you won't have the sleep pressure you need to actually fall asleep. The effect of this is it taking longer than 30 minutes to fall asleep in bed. So, before you go to bed, spend some time decompressing with something calm that doesn't require a lot of energy or commitment, like reading a book, listening to light music, slowly stretching, or deep breathing exercises. Also, if you're already in bed and having trouble sleeping, you can leave your bedroom and try any of these things until you feel the sleep pressure build, and then you can go back and try again. If you are having a lot of negative thoughts or difficult feelings, it's important to try to process these before you go to bed, like with journaling or talking to someone you trust, so that these don't keep you up at night and ruin your sleep quality. Finally, pay attention to what you are consuming at night. It's recommended to not eat any large meals or foods with a lot of spice or acidity for at least 2 hours before bed, because your digestion can actually keep your body from relaxing. Now, this is a big one: caffeine. If you are regularly needing caffeine to stay awake at school, then this is a sign that you are not getting enough sleep at night. Normally, it is not recommended for teens to consume any caffeine due to health risks, but if you do, make sure to keep it under 100 milligrams a day and at least 4 hours before sleep. If you go over this limit, you are putting yourself at risk for worse problems falling asleep, staying asleep, and getting the full rest and recovery effect from sleeping. So stay away from Red Bull, Celsius, Alani, C4, and other energy drinks because these will do more harm than good for your performance in the long run. I hope that this video is helpful in transforming your sleep habits and giving you a better understanding of the importance of getting a good night's sleep. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and go be an academic weapon at school.